It is a race to break Amulet Titan, and that's again what we're going to be trying out today. Welcome to another Amulet video. We're going to be looking at an interesting approach to Amulet. Mycosynth Gardens has obviously revolutionized how we approach the archetype. It has really changed how we build the deck as well. So we're going to be trying kind of like my spin on what people have been doing. Dom Harvey in particular has been doing some really good work with the new versions of the deck, and I'm taking some wisdom from Dom, as I often do, and we're going to apply it on my own different way in here. So what am I doing differently? First of all, I am not playing 61 cards. I won't, I never will, so don't even try, Dom. I know what you're trying to do. So let's not confuse that. However, there are a lot of things that I liked about Dom's list. The pack mitigation in the main deck actually felt good when I tried it in Jose's list. It was one of the things that I did like. He's also going all in on Dryads, but he's also having access to a bunch of Azuzas instead of playing Explorers. So this is what I'm gonna be doing. Dom was playing no Explorers at all. I think he was playing at 34th or 35th land or something like that. I'm going down to 33 lands by only playing a single Valakut, and you know, I'm only playing like 2 Bosages, 1 Cavern of Souls. I'm playing 1 Breeding Pool, 3 Basic Forest, 1 Misty Rainforest. I'm only playing 2 Tolaria West, so I had to make room somewhere in order to go down from 60, because that's never happening. But there are a couple of things that I'm very interested in trying. First of all, in the sideboard Swan Song. This is a card that has always been fantastic in Amulet, but it's always been really, really tough to just kind of be able to cast it. Just have the color of the mana in order to be able to cast it reliably. The Mycosynth Gardens, however, kind of does that, which is very, very interesting. So if you go turn 1, like any land, literally any land that's not a bounce land, and you play Mycosynth Gardens on turn 2, now all of a sudden you have Swan Song mana available to you, which is very interesting. So Swan Song becomes a little bit better thanks to Mycosynth Gardens. So I wanted to try it out too. We also have a couple of dismembers, but I'm splitting the difference with Beast Within. The reason to play Beast Within is Elesh Norn, the new Elesh Norn in particular. If that card happened to resolve, you lose the game, straight up. So like Amulet cannot beat that card, period. So if that resolves, particularly when it's accompanied in the decks where it's in play right now is the Elementals sort of decks, as a 1 or 2 off that you can Eldrazi Skull for. And if you are, you know, facing that and your opponent has access to like Fury Solitude, like all of those disruption pieces, and also Elesh Norn, when the Elesh Norn comes down, you're just gonna lose. Like there's no way you're gonna be able to beat it. So Beast Within is an attempt to hedge against that. Also, you know, Ashiok has started to see more play again, so that's also another reason for Beast Within. Force of Vigors and Endurance, just your classics. I'm going a little bit harder on Tireless Tracker because I felt like one of the most common cards are extraction effects. So we've been seeing Brainstone and not Brainstone, the brain, I don't know, whatever. However, whatever that card is that like exiles all your creatures, all your cards of 1 name. That's the one that people are playing, and then obviously the Necromancer and more Ego style cards as well. So because of that, I want to have access to some number of trackers. 1 copy of Engineer Explosives, and then 1 Cavern, 1 Boseiju, 1 Bomb. That's how we round out the land suite in the sideboard. We're going to be trying through a model league, so hopefully things go a little bit better than the last couple of attempts. If you're enjoying the content, of course, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And if you are really enjoying what you see and would like to actually support me, first of all, I would really, really appreciate it. And second of all, there are a couple of ways that you can go about it. The first one is to go through Patreon. We have different tiers, and you can contribute to my content in whichever way you see fit. And finally, you can also make donations. Within a donation of $30 or more, I will play any deck list of your choice. Finally, coaching is also available for those interested in that. Without further ado, let's play some matches. All right, opponent is a Jegantha gamer, and I guess we're gonna keep this hand because it's a turn 3. Not kill, because we have 2 of our combo lands in hand, but it's a turn 3. Let's keep this. So Jegantha could be basically half of the modern format, because Aspiring Spec has successfully and rightfully convinced everybody that if you can play a companion, you should be playing. We have no information whatsoever. So they do play Savai Triumph on 1, which means I have no idea what my opponent is doing. I guess they're playing like the Sue deck. Hopefully they're playing the Sue deck, because that matchup's very good for us. The awkward thing, however, I mean, I guess I'm still just gonna prime time. But it's kind of awkward that if they are indeed playing the Sue deck, then we can play Gardens on 2, and then we can't actually Gracer. I mean, we can Gracer, but it achieves nothing. Okay, so it is the Sue deck, which is a very good one. Another Saga. Okay, so let's think here for a second. We Gracer. We're just not gonna have enough mana if we play Gracer here. So we could play Gardens. We play Gracer. That means that we don't get like monkeyed or whatever. Gracer plays Slayer Stronghold, but then on my next turn, upkeep. Well, I guess draw main phase. Saga pops, I float a mana, Gardens copies my thing, and then we just don't have enough mana. My opponent is playing Leyline Binding though, which makes things a lot more complicated. So I think I'm still gonna go for Gracer, even though it means that I'm not gonna be able to Titan on my next turn. But the reason to do this is because I want to play around Leyline Binding, and I want to have another Ursa Saga already, you know, clocking. So if my opponent does have Leyline Binding for one of my amulets, I still have a second one on my following turn. But yeah, I could have also just cast a Titan. Like I'm this way I cannot cast a Titan next turn unless I draw another Gracer, unless I draw a Zeus, unless I draw another amulet. But it makes it better if my opponent has any way of interacting with my. So I'm just choosing to play around the stuff that I can, because I don't think the cost is high enough. I basically think that I can afford to do it because my opponent is not going to kill me on this coming turn. They're going to potentially kill me on the following. I don't think I take this 4 from the Drake. And the reason for that is my opponent could have Kavu, which is bigger than that. And this actually doesn't change the clock with Tribal Flames. Not this turn at least, maybe next turn. But yeah, I got multiple ways of actually going off next turn. It's just a matter of, okay, so they do have Territorial Kavu, and they actually do have a Leyline. That doesn't really change what I can do this coming turn. So I'm gonna float a mana, and I am gonna get Amulet. The question now is, do I copy? Or do I do something? I think that I'd rather do this at instant. So I think I'm just gonna play out Stronghold and pass. This is gonna basically mean that my opponent's mana is just gonna be awkward. Now we copy safely, and now we can just, I guess, actually I always forget about this, damn it. So this has trample now, so I guess I should have actually blocked this sign of this turn. I mean, this is better against Monkey. Looks like my opponent did indeed have it because they fetched and shocked. This could also just be a bolt to my Gracer, but that's 9 damage, so my opponent would need another bolt and Tribal Flames or double Tribal Flames or something like that in order to actually kill me. Red mana, bolt my Gracer. Point and taps. Let's see what they're gonna do. Play Temple Garden and shock these double Tribal Flames. So we lose to double Tribal Flames, obviously. That is actually we do lose to Dash Monkey. Yeah, that's actually correct. Yeah. So Dash Monkey plus Tribal Flames is lethal. Guess I just messed around for too long. I mean, what really got me is this, right? The fact that I drew both of these. What? What the hell is this? 1 red green 4/4 into value with 5 old counters. You remove an old counter, gains vigilance and menace. Remove 2 old counters. It gets +2/+2. Remove 3 old counters. Destroy target item. That's a card, I guess. Miglos Mace. Huh. I don't lose to Leyline Binding. We can beat Leyline Binding fairly easily. That's a Tarmogo if that doesn't kill me. So that's a blank draw. Okay, so now we have triple Amulet, which means many menaces. Opponent's got 2 cards in hand. There's only 1 card that actually, which is specifically Leyline Binding. So now, I guess what I want to do is I want to get T-West plus Sanctuary. This leaves me with a white mana. Second Primetime finds a double bounce land. I think we go for a substantial amount of mana here. Bounce, T-West, transmute. And now we have 2 white floating. This is white mana floating. I can leave 2 white mana floating. Primetime finds double bounce land is gonna be, oh, we just go for Colossus. Yeah, we just go for, it's actually much easier. We just go for Colossus. Growth Chamber, yes, Sanctuary. Let's get just more lands. I always forget that I have them at this point for 1. All my opponent can do to stop this. And Colossus U. Triggers. Draw cards. It's fun. We're gonna copy Label Sage 2. Now we have triggers. The only triggers that actually matter are the Stronghold triggers, which I want to be the last ones to go on the stack. I mean, the first one to go on the stack, so they're the last one. And now it just doesn't matter. No, actually, we want to put it off these first. Whoops, I forgot about all the bounce land, all the bounce triggers. It's gonna matter too much with the amount of cards that I drew. Why isn't my opponent concede this? That's the part that I don't quite understand. I mean, it's good content, so I guess I'm not complaining too much. It would save me some clicking. So that happens. So we bounce some lands back to copy more amulets because Why not? More clicks. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Susa, Titan. All right. Opponent has seen enough. Apparently, this was the one that really was too much to deal with. Okay, so cards that I care about. I care about Engineered Explosives. I care about Boseiju. I care about Dismembers, and I think that's it. Not a huge fan of Pact of Negation in this kind of matchup. They could have stuff like Remand. I would assume that they would have Aether Gust before Remand. So I guess I'm gonna cut Cavern of Souls, and I think I'm gonna cut one Saga, and I think I'm gonna... Okay, nope. Not keeping this one. This one's interesting. This one's varying. So if we keep Forest, we get to go turn 1 Saga, turn 2 Boseiju. Then turn 3, we're gonna have 4 mana, 5 mana. I mean, it's seems like a fine, not the best keep I've ever seen, but it seems good enough to... Arid Mesa into Monkey could be a problem because it's gonna give my opponent pretty significant amount of mana. Temple Garden is a lot less bad. Yeah, that's a lot more manageable. Here's a Saga, and we're not playing around Alpine. So if opponent has the Alpine Moon, they got me. we're definitely throwing this Vesuva copy in my side. Oh, that's black mana. All of a sudden I just saw that black mana, and I'm thinking about the potential of Necromantia style, and I'm a lot more scared. Maybe and more ego. Quite strong, I'd even say. Okay, so I'm just gonna play Vesuva copy in my opponent's Temple Garden now. What that does is it allows me to, like, I guess I cut it still allows me to hide the Boseiju though. So we're just gonna copy Temple Garden and pass the turn back. That's a very strong wear tear. That's pretty significant tempo hit we just got there. Obviously, you know, 1 mana Stone Rain is quite strong, as you would imagine. Explosives is potentially a way for me to catch up, but my opponent did not have another 1-drop there. Wooded Foothills. So Goyf and Nakaddle are basically the same card here. I guess the difference is that Goyf grows when I explosives. So that's the reason for playing the explosives on 2. I think I'm just too behind on tempo. So I guess that I could draw exactly... If I draw exactly Amulet on the following turn, we take 6 down to 5. So I need to draw exactly Amulet of Vigor. So I'm just going to play out Boseiju. If I draw Amulet, I can go play Amulet, then play Bounce Land, Pact for Asusa, potentially get a blocker that way, and then just like play Growth Chamber twice so that I can... Actually, I think I would Pact for Gracer. No, actually, there's no difference. They either have the removal spell or they don't. Because like any removal spell they could be playing is going to kill Asusa, and the every removal that they play would also kill Gracer. But this is assuming that I draw Amulet of Vigor. Without Amulet, we one of them fetches on my end step, and then they play with it. Take 6 here. It'd be exciting to see something like a Become Immense or whatever. 5 Tribal Flames. Drawing Dryad doesn't quite get us there. Game number 3. Bring in Explore. I think I still like the Dismembers. I still like Engineered Explosives. I'd rather have all my other cards instead of Explore. Expedition Map is the only arguable one, but I think I have cybered the Expedition Map out enough times and wanted it and lost because I didn't have it, that I have learned from my mistakes. You just keep the Expedition Map in. Keep it in because you never know when your hand will line up in such a way that you will. Okay, what are we looking at here? We're looking at slow hand with both Stronghold and Home in hand. So any 3-drop, or if I draw Primeval Titan, I would be into this hand. I could also Pact for Asusa and play both of my bounce lands and set up for a turn 4 Titan. Ugh, okay. This is definitely on the very bottom of double hands. This is definitely towards the very bottom. It's possible that I should just be shipping this. Opponent keeps 7. Play our Amulet of Vigor. What we're looking for is Gracer or any 3-drop. Those are the best things that we can. Heals into what? Just pass it back. Interesting. So I drew a Gracer, but the likelihood of this Amulet actually surviving are extremely low. So if I play Valakut and my opponent spends their turn dealing with my Amulet, that's fine, because then I can just play Growth Chamber. And so I think I'm just gonna go Growth Chamber, play Gracer. I guess what I could do also is just like play Growth Chamber and just do nothing. Just bounce Stronghold. Dashed Monkey punishes me. If my opponent is playing Thoughtseize, also that punishes me pretty badly. I guess those are enough reasons to just like play out the Gracer now. I really doubt that my opponent has Engineered. Send it back, crazy boy. Opponent fetches on my end step. I need Sacred Foundry. They're gonna bolt my Gracer. I'm kind of into that. Sacred Foundry, Overgrown 2. Gonna be a Dashed Monkey. Shatter on my Amulet. Goyf is fine. Can we find Asusa? It's not a Sousa. I'm gonna play out the forest because it allows me to potentially pay for a pact if I need to. Would love to dodge Surgical Extraction here, or like Armored Ego or whatever. Pulling up this Amulet or what? Red, black, wear. Fairly expected. So what can we do now? Not greedy of my opponent, by the way, to not wear last turn, but I think that it's probably correct. Like, they need to put a clock on that. They're just never raising me. It's a nice draw. So we're gonna play Valakut tapped. And we're just gonna play this Engineered Explosives for 2, and we should resolve Primeval Titan next turn. This just stops my opponent's clock. And what I really like about Engineered Explosives is that it gives me complete agency over how this plays out. So there are a couple of ways that I can go about this. Like, I can just take 4, and then that means that my opponent does not get to play Kavu. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take 4, and we're gonna go to 12. And now my opponent's gonna need to have, so if they have a Kavu, they can't actually cast it. They can Ego here, which would be pretty annoying, if I'm being honest. We can get rid of Tarmogoyf. I have to assume that my opponent is going to have some form of interaction, right? Like, they have to have Leyline, they have to have something. They can't play a dude here, but they have to have some. If they have like Aethergust, Remand style cards, we're probably going to lose because it's going to be like too much of a tempo hit. I could go for Dryad. The problem with Dryad is that it just dies to what's his name without giving me any value. So I think it's just good. If they have Remand, Aethergust, anything like that, that resolved. So now we can get Boseiju and any other green source. Alternatively, we can just go Boseiju T-West. Boseiju actually answers whether my opponent has Leyline or whether I need to kill this Draco. Boseiju answers both. And also Boseiju pays for my Pact on upkeep. Then I untap and I bring back Boseiju to hand, and I go from there. I have 3 cards in hand, which is actually very scary. I could see myself getting tempoed out. My hand ended up being quite clunky. If this prime time does not get answered though, then I think we're gonna be, because I'm gonna be able to bring my opponent's clock to 0. Prime time can probably close the deal from there. But yeah, my opponent could have, they would need, so we go to 8, so Bolt plus Tribal Flames does it. Nothing we can do about it. If only we have Radiant Fountain, right? If only. Green red. Go if we can beat. Go if we can beat. Okay, so I think I'm gonna pay Person, bounce Boseiju, and say go. And then next turn we transmute, play draw. If they Leyline Binding, we get our prime time back. If they don't Leyline Binding, sign Draco. Dashed Monkey doesn't mess with the map. Leyline Binding doesn't do anything. We definitely have to go to blocks and put the prime time in front of it. Just attacking with Draco. Blocks, can't block. Honestly, it's kind of crazy how freaking land kills a dragon. here's a land. It's like, no, crazy dragon, insanely powerful. Just like, now here's a land. Here's this tree. Dragon could never beat this random tree. What? A tree could never get past that. Hell of a powerful tree. So, well, let's start there. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna swing. I'm not gonna go for a Dryad kill because my opponent showed me where there. So if they got Leyline, they have to do something here. So let's attack first. Wear Tear, and they did have the Wear Tear. Feeling so smart right now. So they have to at least throw one of these dudes under the boat. They just have to. So what I'm gonna do, let's see how much mana we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got 8 mana. Then we just go Boseiju bounce. Say yes. This plays around Leyline Binding. So we're threatening lethal because we have Sunhome, and my opponent's only answer is Leyline Binding, which we can blow up if we want to. I think this seems fine. Now the question is, do I want to Vesuva? I think the answer is yes, because this allows me to turn the bounce land. I'm just gonna copy Garrison. I'm gonna bounce Boseiju, but this allows me to turn the Boros Garrison into Valakut. So we see if my opponent blocks. They do nothing. If they don't block, because they want to threaten lethal on the crackback, that's because they have Leyline Binding. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to transmute for Dryad, 1, 2, 3, play Dryad, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna have Boseiju mana up. And simply what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play a bounce land, bouncing Boros Garrison. And even if my opponent Leylines my Dryad with the Leyline on the stack and the Valakut trigger still on the stack, I can Boseiju the Leyline, the thing comes back, and because it checks on resolution, I'm still going to be okay. So I think we got it, because if I double strike here, that's going to be 7 damage, which is not enough, so it's not worth doing anything. So we're just going to let this opponent takes 1. And we are threatening lethal here with a Leyline Binding redundancy. So 3 mana, which we're gonna make 4. It's gonna mute, leaving green mana up. Respect your face. CS always healed. Bounce Vesuva. Replay Vesuva, copying Dryad. Even if my opponent had like the only answer they could have had to, I guess we would have lost to exactly another Wear Tear. I guess we wouldn't lose to that, right? Like my opponent just gets another turn. We're still winning on the following turn regardless. But yeah, this played around Leyline Binding in a way that my opponent just cannot. That's awesome. See you next round. Round number 2, and this hand is an absolute banger. So how are we gonna sequence this? So we have turn 1 Gardens. Or we can go like turn 1 Gracer. Now we're just gonna play Gardens off of Amulet. I think this is better. It's worse versus specifically Prismatic Ending. That's kind of like the only card that punishes me for this. Cavern of Souls is Cavern of Beasts, so I guess we're playing the mirror, right? So I'm gonna be copying. Wow, opponent's going off over there. I'm gonna be copying my Amulet main phase. Oh, I guess this is now a turn 2 now that I drew a second Gracer, right? So I go Growth Chamber, copy Amulet, have green floating, play Gracer, 4 mana. Just lethal. JK. Okay, yeah, this is actually something that we're just gonna have to get familiar with. Like some of these play patterns are kind of very weird and like very new. Like it's stuff that we haven't really had to do before, or like really have to think about before. Actually pretty interesting stuff. We have to be mindful of the fact that my opponent has 2 Gracers, so I guess I'm gonna need to kind of go for double type. So Dryad is +1 mana, Gracer is +3, so this is 4 mana. I mean, I'm gonna play Dryad because it's free, obviously, but now we have 5 mana. Then I think I'm gonna be able to make 8 mana total. So that being the case, I'm not gonna be able to transmute for another Primeval. I guess I have to ensure that I'm able to pay for Pact. So it's better for me to play out Breeding Pool. That's just one more landing play. So play Gracer, Breeding Pool, play Prime Time. I guess I can go for Valakut here. It's not gonna trigger, but just so it's in play. I kind of want to have more greens. I guess I only need 1 more green source, so I can just go get Boseiju. And I already have Growth Chamber in hand. I don't think my opponent can kill me considering what I've seen. I guess I can just go get Boseiju to be safe. My opponent, as long as I have Boseiju, my opponent's not gonna be able to answer my Primeval Titan. There's no way they're main decking removal. Growth Chamber, mana. Yeah, this just seems. They take 7 because they send the Charm Blocker. So if my opponent had like, you know, Amulet or like something like that, then maybe they can find a way to kill me. But like by doing this, they just have no outs anymore, right? Right now we're on the draw. So Beast Within sounds interesting, particularly to blow up lands. Boseiju is great. Forces are great. Swan Song countering Dryad is kind of sexy. I mean, but at that point, Swan Song can counter Dryad and it can counter Swan Song counters Dryad and Summon. So is that better than Dismember? I definitely want Beast Within. I think Beast Within is pretty solid. We can cut Cavern of Souls. We can cut. Guess I'm gonna cut 1 Saga. I'm kind of interested in Dismember because Dismember also kills Asusa, which now all of a sudden matters a lot more than it used to. So let's actually. I'm on the draw, so I think I'm gonna cut. Oh, this is close. I think I'm gonna cut 1 more land. I don't think I want to cut it. Cut a Misty. Let's cut Explore. Rambling Vestige. Here we go. That's a bounce land. Loading some mana. A bounced Vestige. Racer into Vestige. Vestige looking good over there. Oh, nothing? Interesting. Alright. It's a bounce land. Here's a garden. Here we go. If they have Asusa, I'm probably going to have to blow up the Amulet. But now they explore. Load mana. Bounce land. Summoner's Pact. Arboreal Gracer. So now we have to force in response. Wait, 1, 2. Because they have explore. So I guess I have to force. I'm going to pitch Summoner's Pact. Now we're going to win because we're going to get 2 Beasts Within their Growth Chamber and they're going to die to Pact. Oh, they have Dryad. Brutal. Oh, they don't have the extra land drop. Sick. Oh, I love this. I also love the fact that this just plays around like anything they could have in terms of like mana. So like this plays around 4s, this just plays around everything. Beast Within your land, baby. Mwah. This is just pure magic right here. Oh yes, the Amulet Mirror. You'll love to see it. Round number 3, and I'm still not sure whether this kind of hand is great or terrible, but this kind of hand is fun, so I'm gonna keep it. So we're gonna go turn 1 Saga, turn 2 probably second Saga, turn 3 Gardens. I guess we're gonna be able to like draw it in Castle Garenbrig. Every match is an Amulet Mirror apparently. So if I Gardens, now that I have T-West, this means I get Amulet, I copy Amulet. On my turn, I get 4 mana. It's not enough. I think I just have to play the second Saga instead. Now what I can do is I can go draw it into Gardens. They have an Explorer kind of hand. Oh, they didn't have a green. Good. Oh, they could be playing... Oh, no, they can't. No, it has to be Amulet. Yeah, it can't be. I was thinking they could be playing Scapeshift, but they actually... Still in the same spot, I guess. Growth Chamber. My point is to kill me here, otherwise I kill them next turn. Here's a Dryad. Here's Gardens. And I'm gonna do this right now to play around Boseiju. So now we win next turn. A lot. So my opponent has this turn to kill me. So the Saga's not gonna get to. And this is game 1, so I'm not afraid of anything, really. Nothing they can do to stop me. I guess Boseiju, a timely Boseiju on my bounce land could be... That is not Boseiju. That is most certainly not Boseiju. It's Manases. We're gonna be making some Manases. Here's this bad boy. I mean, that's one thing that I do like about the Amulet Mirror. Like, it doesn't really take too long. One way or the other. It's rare for the Amulet Mirror to Cavern of Souls. And I think I cut a Saga on my previous round. Still feels like the less bad thing to cut, as weird as that may seem. It's a weird thing to cut, but it, like, Force of Vigor is such an impactful card in the mirror, as we just saw in the previous mirror that we just played. Hand has interaction, and this is good interaction too. A little bit on the slow side. Opponent moves to 6. I mean, this hand is a turn 4 Titan. The thing is that I don't know if that's good enough. Maybe Boseiju makes it good enough, but like I'm not gonna be able to Boseiju until turn 3. I'm gonna mulligan. Yeah, this is better. I think this is considerably better. Keep, and I think I bottomed the Redundant Gracer. Redundant Gracer allows me to play a removal. Cavern Beast. Probably one of the best things to name in all of... do I want to... I mean, there's no real reason to get breeding. Let's just go Gracer, play side. Next turn, we just Gruul Turf, Bouncing Basic Forest. There's the Gracer. So many slothing. So much slothing. Cavern Giant is pretty interesting. Okay. Play Gruul Turf, Bounce Forest. I'm starting to think that maybe I should have bottomed the Redundant Gruul Turf. Nah, that's just not. Beast Within blowing up lands here is very low. Sage my land. Low key great for me. They are down a land. I am up a mana. I guess I can blow it up on their upkeep. But if I do that, then I don't get to actually play my bounce land here. Let's think about this. So, what can I draw that punishes me? I guess Explore into Azusa. If I draw Explore into Azusa, that punishes me? No, because I can still Explore into Azusa. Amulet, does Amulet punish me? Also not really. Like, I definitely want to Beast Within. I 100% want to Beast Within. I think I'd rather Beast Within right now. And the reason for that is so my opponent doesn't get to crack the Expedition map for free. So if they want to crack Expedition map, they have to. So there's actually 2 different reasons for me to. So... They do have Saga. Now they can't have Saga. I'm gonna take 3. Have the Dryad. They do, but no extra land. We're gonna get to Titan next turn, and then on the following turn, my opponent is gonna get to Titan. They basically have to fetch for. So now Gracer jumps on attack with Dryad. Prime time. So, oh, they're just gonna crack for Castle, but I can't beat that anyway. So this doesn't really change. Bounce land plus. So we just lose to the Castle, I think. Next turn, we're gonna have 7 mana. I think the Dryad plus Titan is gonna kill me. I do get to answer the Dryad, but they get to get double Valakut, shoot my Titan. They don't get to haste. You can't make it. So if they have any land, I guess any land doesn't kill me either. It needs to be bounce land, depending on whatever they get here. But it's gonna be 12 points. Look. Ugly Valakuts. Come on, opponent. You know better. Any land kills me, but it looks like my opponent doesn't have lands because they just shot my dudes. I guess any land is lethal. Down to 5 we go. Now we're gonna get to draw very many cards. Technically, down to triggers. Ugh. I guess I'm just gonna play out all the Boseijus because I'm gonna force. I'm just gonna play everything out here. Perfect. Triggers. Now, bounce Boseiju. Bounce West, bounce Basic Forest, bounce lands, and can I afford to play a blocker here? So this covers this. These both get killed by force on up. Hasting doesn't matter. I think I need to hold up Boseiju for another Dryad. I think I need to hold up Boseiju for a second, so I can't really let the Gracer go. But I want to maximize the amount of mana that I have access to. So yeah. Play Forest. Now we pass the turn. We want to hold on to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because I really have to hold up the Boseiju at instant speed. The construct is not clear. We're not going to be able to play out Gracer. Also, we can actually use the Gracer to pitch this nice, which means that I get to go to keep double Dryad. 5, 6, 7. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 14. 15, 16, 17, 18 mana. I guess it's better to hold up Key West because it gives me more options. So upkeep, force. So we're gonna take 3 from the Beast token. That should hopefully be enough. They don't even make a construct. It's interesting. They don't have double green to actually activate Castle. And they know about the Boseiju in my hand, so they know that isn't it. Well, shout out to Cultivator Colossus this match. This game, just having the random Cultivator really paid off. Got pretty lucky that my opponent just did not have. Alright, opponent tanks for a bit, and finally they go for Dryad. And now, moving to combat. I mean, the change of colors doesn't really do anything for me. If they dismember, this is still gonna be a 6/6, so exactly. They kill my Cultivator, but whatever. I don't need a Cultivator to win. I'm actually gonna win with what I have in hand. Also, if they have dismember, that's kind of great, right? Like they used to. But I'm obviously going to kill it with Boseiju, which again, my opponent knows about, so. And they didn't filter mana, so they didn't have Tulare West in hand to transmute for another Dryad. Even if they did, they can't cast it because they don't have an Amulet. If they have another Dryad at hand, we lose. There's not really too much that we can do about that. Here, all these Valakut triggers are gonna go on the stack. And all the Valakut triggers go on the stack, and now they fizzle. But yeah, if they have another Dryad, we are dead. And can't be bounced Boseiju. Can I block? Get in there, Cultivator. On to 2 we go. Do you have it, opponent? Do you have it? Mycosynth Gardens. Okay, so we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. So the question now is, do I want to play around the Boseiju that I know my opponent has in hand, or do I want to play around Force of Vigor? I think actually the answer is we transmute for Valakut. We transmute for Valakut. Oh man, this is hard. So we actually have 4, 10, 14, 15 mana plus a land drop. We have not made a land drop just yet. We can transmute for Valakut. I guess we transmute for... It's actually better. No, what we do is we transmute for Stronghold. So we're going to cast Primetime like this. Cast Dryad. So we're gonna cast Primetime. Yeah. So we cast Primetime with Valakut plus Vesuva. Vesuva copying my opponent's Valakut, which is nice. All the targets go face. Always yes, always yes, always healed. Now my opponent's gonna need to do something. Ha! They had the Force of Vigor. I knew it! I fucking knew it! Exactly, baby. I knew it! Alright, so their hand was Gracer plus Force. So now my opponent is down to nothing. They have no cards, and I have to force them to use the land. So what's gonna happen is we're going to float blue here, I think. It's gonna be 3 mana to transmute. Then we play Dryad. Yes, this is fine. So that is fine. That resolves. Triggers Fizzle. Whatever. Tulare West, transmute for Slayer's Stronghold. Play second Dryad. We're gonna play Stronghold, and then we're gonna haste Primetime. And that's gonna be 15 plus 8. Maybe we actually just have lethal through the Gracer. Do we? And with the current board state, there's no single card my opponent can top deck that can win them the game. This is gonna be plus 2. This is gonna be a 15 power creature. 16 plus 8 is gonna be 24. That should be good enough. Yeah, I think we actually just have lethal. Okay, it's kind of crazy, but these have been actually very interesting mirrors. That's not something you get to say every day while playing Amulet. No, I actually played some interesting and close mirrors today. It's just like, oh, okay. Won the game at 2 life. These triggers are going to, again, go face. I am really, really happy with how I navigated this match, actually. I guess this game. No, not really. I'm very, very happy with how I navigated. It was actually very... You got me. It's another land. This is still lethal. It's over there. I just have to get 2 non-bounce lands, actually. I guess only 1 is fine. This is gonna be 8 plus 14. I have to make it 23. Sick! That was awesome. That was really, really cool. Round number 4. Some pretty cool matches being played today. So turn 1. We're on the play, by the way. Turn 1 Saga. Turn 2 Saga. Turn 3 1 Saga pops. I have 4 mana total. Turn 4 2 Saga, second Saga pops. I have 5 mana total. I think we can do better than this on 6. Okay, yeah, this looks better. We're gonna keep this one. And I think we're going to bottom Gardens. I think I'd rather play around my opponent having a way to disrupt me by holding onto the second. I have so many lands that find me turn 4 Titan on the play. So I think we're going to name Cavern on Beast in case we top deck specifically Grazer. So otherwise we can reset the Cavern on Human and then we can reset it once again. Valakut. Yeah, not play bounce land. Reset my Cavern. So if we're playing against Murktide and they have Blood Moon on 3, that's gonna be bad, but it's nice that this Azusa is just going to be like it doesn't matter whether this Azusa survives or not. I warranty Watergrave Polluted Delta and Watergrave tapped at that. Play Cavern on Human. Man, I love having multiple Azusas now. No main deck Aethergast from OP. For us, good for us. Back. What the hell is my opponent doing? They're not playing. I mean, are they playing mill? They can't be playing mill. They would just like turn 1 land, turn 2 land, go. I'm so sad right now. All right, so I guess I lose. It was so close, man. So I have not yet fetched. Am I going to decline to fetch here? I promise if I decline to fetch, I just lose to drown. So I don't think I can really. What I am gonna do is I'm just gonna go Vesuva Stronghold, I guess. Vesuva copying Valakut. As the turn, I just get milled to the ground. They don't have Archive Trap, so am I supposed to play around Cavern? Surgical, my Dryad. You can still pact for prime time and swing for a bunch, making the Titan uncounterable. Yeah, I mean, well, do you have the counter for this one? And you counter the Summoner's Pact? You don't. The prime time. Prime time, leaving white mana floating. Double Saga here. Borrower, drown. You drown in the lock the Primeval Titan instead of just drowning the Summoner's Pact when you knew my entire hand. That is super. Alright, last card in hand. Ashas, down to 2. Okay. Gotta pay for Pact here. Pay for Pact. Breeding Pool. You can still filter mana. So we're going to make a construct. Is it better to make another construct or is it better to filter mana? So I guess but the last card in my deck is exactly the Cultivator Colossus. That's brutal. Okay. So I think I'm gonna play. So we make a construct and I can haste or I can make another Saga construct. If I make another Saga construct, I don't get to attack here. So let's assume, I mean, what can my opponent draw that that wouldn't kill me though? Like land kills me, Fatal Push. I guess they can draw like Drown in the Lock or Fatal Push. They could draw a Drown or Fatal Push and then I wouldn't die. So at that point, I am playing Cavern on Beast and casting Cultivator. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I guess these don't count because these are going to get destroyed. So it's going to be 11, 12. It's going to actually be 9. So it's better to make more constructs. It's better to cultivate. This next turn I can just cast Cultivator and haste it to more mana. So I think that the right play is to play the Breeding Pool. Obviously my life total doesn't matter. We play Sanctuary, downs Cavern, be here, filter for white. Again, this is assuming my opponent draws exactly Fatal Push, which is the only card that I can beat. I guess Surgical Extraction I can also beat. Extirpate any card like that one I can't. So, good old mill. So, Tireless Trackers. Oh, we actually get Swan Song here, which is nice. Beast Withins are fine. Dismembers are fine, I mean. Endurance obviously pretty good. And Boseiju, Cavern, 36 lands, 71 cards. Seems okay. We could also bring in Beast Within. Might as well. So this would be the equivalent of playing 30 lands, I guess. But I guess I'm still supposed to go to do cheese things. Because I can copy Gardens on 2 and then I can Cultivator on 3. Swan Song is interesting. So we get to hold up Swan Song. Pretty interesting. Let's hope we do. Second Crab is kind of, but we may be able to cheese here. Let's see how it goes. May be able to fetch again. They're gonna get to mill a bunch more cards. Watery Grave. So we're still gonna get Colossus. Maybe Colossus is enough. Backed by this Swan Song. Float mana. We obviously can't really do this. These are the cards that we've been dealt. And we just have to hope that it works. Bouncing. If they have Surgical, we probably lose. If they have Archive Trap, we lose as well. They can't Surgical my land because I have Sanctuary, which I don't. I know my Colossus dies here, but I need more stuff. This is just like a boost. So that's everything. Fortunately, because it's not that much. But we get to T-West for Endurance. Then we can't pay for packs. So this was not particularly great if I'm being. It wasn't the worst, but it was also. We also have a pack to pay for already. 1, 2, 3, It's 8 mana, but we're gonna have to bounce 2 cards. Let's make one of those Teleria West. And I guess the other one is gonna be a bounce land that's surgical here. Yeah, the inability to haste is probably gonna be our demise. Expedition map. We can crack map right now, while I don't think that my opponent has crack map for these Valakut are out. The Valakut are out, so there goes. So I can kill one of these crab, which seems kind of... Actually, I can't. Never mind. So I guess I'm gonna play the Gracer out. Because I'm just gonna have extra. Right, so the plan is to Pact for Dryad and go nuts with that. 3, 4, 6. That's what we got. It's not too much, but honest work. But to say that it's not looking great would be... Oh, they have field, dude. They have field. Well, I can't even Pact for endurance here. So this is just... And there goes the endurance. So I guess now I lose. I think I have no outs now. Can decline to do that. All right, so Dryad doesn't do anything. Endurance is gone. Can't pay for our pact, for 2 pacts, sorry. So I guess Tracker is now my out. It's not a great out because it actively hurts me. Like it actually makes it. Valakut has been exiled. So can I gotta pay for pact this turn. Then I guess... I mean, opponent's out 1 card. That's something. They got a bird, which we can block. Swan Song, the MVP. I can draw exactly another Swan Song. That's why I'm holding. Tracker, played out. Be sad. Because now Dryad doesn't do anything either. It's gotta. And I'm gonna play it out now, obviously, because it means like it's not a very good. In case you're wondering whether this is a good plan, it is not. But it's what we got. It is what we got. I mean, if my opponent draws nothing but blanks for the remainder of the game, maybe. It's a mill 12. And this is why this matchup is unwinnable, right? In case you were wondering, how do you beat Amulet? It seems so strong. Well, you play mill. You play mill. And you will win. I mean, this is a lot of mana. Doesn't really do anything, but a lot of mana. Maybe I can draw Dismember, I guess. Dismember would be a useful draw. So I can get rid of one of these crabs that slows down the milling. Their problem is they have a bunch of... Kind of feels like I should have conceded a while ago. I'm gonna crack a clue right now. Just to see what's up. Actually, I should have cracked. Ooh, okay. All right. Can I find this member off of this clue? Can I do it? All right, so we lose to a land. But now all of a sudden we're in a spot where we may be able to beat, like if my opponent has like a bunch of Tasha's Hideous Laughter and stuff like that, we may be able to raise that. But we cannot beat a land. Particularly a fetch land. If my opponent draws a land, we're really, damn it, that's a land. And that's this member. That sucks. Mycosynth Gardens doesn't do anything. Got no draws here. Sunhome and what's his name are both exiled. At one point, I think we actually did have a shot at one point. All right, seen enough. See, let's be there for the last round. Last round, let's see if we can get a nice little 4-on-1 here. This hand is very clunky. This hand is significantly better. Keep bottom redundant Dryad, I think. Because we have a Dryad, I'm going to go turn 1 Saga into Amulet, even though we may get blown out by Prismatic Ending, but if I find a bounce and I get to play Dryad on 2, it's just so insane. But if they blow up my land into almost to 4, all to 4, opponent concedes. All right, so I guess we got no information about what they're doing over there. What could are we playing against? I think I'm gonna bring in Beast Within just as a hedge, and maybe 1 Tireless Trap, 1 Asusa and 1 Asusa. I guess I may want. This is 100% a hedge. I have no idea what my opponent could be doing over there. This hand's terrible. This is much better. Keep this one. I think we bottom the Asusa. We don't have an Amulet with this hand, so like Asusa doesn't. Oh, it's a mirror. 3 mirrors, dude. Oh yeah, you love to see it. Here's a garden. Well, we're not gonna find the force, so if we draw Amulet, we may be in fine shape. Unless my opponent kills me. But they don't have enough mana to kill me through the Gracer. Beast Within would be nice too. It's a miss. A swing and a miss. We can't even Titan next turn unless we find Amulet. So. The thing is, like, now they need either a Gracer or a Asusa in order to actually cast a Titan. I guess Dryad would also do it. Lay out Bossage. I mean, I can't punish them, so I have Titan mana. Alright, so if they kill me, then I'm gonna be dead. Funny that my opponent, like, if I had Bossage here, I win the game. If I had Boseiju in my hand here, I may just win the game straight up. Plan into Asusa. Titan opponent. Now we can move on. Obviously my Cyberlink was terrible. So here come the Force of Vigor. Here comes Boseiju. Cut the Cavern of Souls. Asusa. The 61 cards. Pact of Negation out. Here we're on the play. Should we just like let's just let's just see what happens if I bring him. Although Gardens actually helps me pay for packs. All right, so now we know what's up, and we know that this one's better. Not by too much, so we're just gonna lose to force with this hand, but I think that's acceptable. I'm gonna hold on to the Vesuva because I may need to copy my opponent's bounce land. So I'm gonna go turn 1 Gardens into Amulet, turn 2 copy, and turn 3 we'll see whether my opponent goes for like Vesuva or whatever. Opponent moves to 3, interesting. Funny thing is like they had like force plus green card plus whatever. Never mind. I think I can copy my opponent's Saga. I think that's better than playing Valakut because this makes it so if they force these 2, I still have Amulet coming down the line. If they don't have force here, Garden, Amulet, play bounce. This is gonna be actually, it looks like it's gonna be like a non-exciting, unlike the previous ones that we played today. Valakut, Mule Titan. 3 of 3 for mirror matches. Let's go. 4-1, the best result that I've gotten so far with Amulet. And the queues are wild right now. It's basically 3 Amulet decks, 1 anti-Amulet deck, and then like a random Sue deck, of course. So, it's weird. And it makes sense, right? Like right now, people are in a little bit of a honeymoon phase, and everybody's like kind of excited to crack the code and try to figure out, okay, how do I build the best Amulet deck? I think that once people finally do, then what's gonna happen is then people are going to start doing the whole anti-Amulet thing, or even just random decks are gonna start playing anti-Amulet cards. We already started seeing that a little bit with decks just going out of their way in order to fit cards like Force of Vigor, fit cards like, you know, Ashiok, Blood Moon effects, stuff like that. So I think that right now it's an exciting time, but also kind of a weird time. But yeah, that's kind of where things are at right now. This decklist felt nice. I think I'm a fan of the whole multiple Azusa, multiple Dryad thing. This felt quite strong. I won multiple matches with Dryad. I was really excited to see Azusa every time that it showed up. And the issue of like the whole it's legendary thing feels like right now it matters less than ever, because it feels like you just need less moving pieces anyway, and like just having access to the first copy of Azusa it's so necessary that even if it costs you drawing extras, it's yeah, this was my favorite list that I played so far. And I'm not saying this only because of it was the best result, but it also felt like it had the less amount of holes in it. So big fan of Dom's angle of attack, of going for just having a bunch of like 3 drops and everything. Swan songs actually were pretty decent as well. I was kind of a fan of the Swan songs, and Beast Within was huge. Beast Within was actually huge. It's very nice, and this is always in the case. Like Beast Within is just like an absolute banger in the mirror. So if you're expecting a lot of the mirror match, having access to Beast Within is going to be all right, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe button, and if you're interested in supporting my content, you can do so by going to ManaTrader's SG Player and using their services with the link that you will find in the description down below. You can also support directly if you were so kind through Patreon or through direct donations. You can also book some coaching. Everything that you need to know is in the description of the video down below. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one, folks. Take care and bye bye.